When it comes to the Caribbean, Carnival is quite often the biggest event of the year in each country and territory. And as the season rolls around, we are all excited for the events that are to come. Caribbean carnivals are vibrant and colorful cultural events, which herald the time for enjoyment and festivities. While the majority of carnivals are held just before the start of Lent, many of them stretch beyond into the year, ensuring there is always some event you can attend. At Carnival, revelers take to the streets in elaborate costumes, dancing to the sounds of steel drum bands and calypso music. The costumes, which are often handmade and decorated with feathers, beads, and glitter, are a key aspect of the Carnival experience and are highly prized. Not to mention the food stalls, arts and crafts vendors, soca and singing competition, and the end of the agricultural harvest season. In this presentation, we will highlight the various carnivals around the Caribbean region, so bear with us as we go through, in alphabetical order, all the carnivals for both independent Caribbean nations and territories. We have time-stamped throughout this video, so you can go directly to the individual location that is of interest to see carnival dates and what to expect at each carnival throughout the Caribbean region. We start off our list with Anguilla. Anguilla Carnival, which is also referred to as the Anguilla Summer Festival, is the island's biggest holiday and is celebrated more widely than even Christmas. Anguilla Carnival stirs vivid images of sequin costumes, street parades, and amazing music. Anguilla Summer Festival is more a collection of events that take place typically the first week of August. August Monday is always the first Monday of August, the biggest day of Anguilla Carnival, with everything ranging from boat racing and poker events to dancing in the streets and beach parties. The carnival season culminates on the 7th of August with the Juve and Caribbean Beach Party.
Imagine one final jump! One final jump!
Next on our list is the nation of Antigua and Barbuda, whose carnival is a celebration of the emancipation from slavery in the country and is typically held between the end of July to the first Tuesday in August. The most important day for Antigua's festivities is Juve or Juve, which is a massive party that involves music, dancing, and the use of colored powder and paint dusted on thousands of colorful people. One of the main attractions of Antigua and Barbuda Carnival is the elaborate costumes, which are typically made of brightly colored feathers, beads, and sequins. Participants dress up in these costumes and dance in the streets to the sounds of steel pan, soca, calypso, and reggae music. The carnival also features competitions such as the Calypso Monarch competition and the King and Queen of the Bands competition, where participants showcase their talent and creativity, creating a week of mass celebration and activities. Moving further south in the Caribbean, we come to the Dutch territory of Aruba. Carnival in Aruba means weeks of events that bring you colorfully decorated floats, contagiously throbbing music, luxuriously designed costumed groups of celebrants of all ages, king and queen elections, electrifying jump-ups, torchlight parades that wind their way through the streets at night, the Juve morning pajama parade, the children's parades, and finally, the Grand Parade. Officially starting in November, the majority of events, celebrations, and parades are held in January and February until the burning of King Momo, marking the end of the carnival season. Aruba Carnival always begins on the 1st of January and continues right up until the start of Lent, and will come to an end in late February. Next, we come to the lure that is the Bahamas, which is hard to resist when you're craving sunny shores, beautiful beaches, and the best island experiences. However, the Bahamas' carnival is a lure in and of itself as well, particularly the country's biggest event, Junkanoo. Junkanoo is a street parade and cultural festival that takes place on Boxing Day, December 26th, and on New Year's Day. It originated in the West African slave communities in the 1700s and has since become an integral part of Bahamian heritage and culture. Junkanoo is a celebration full of music, dance, costumes, and creativity with competitions for ensembles. The colorful and vibrant parade draws large crowds, both local and international, to the streets of Nassau, the capital city of the Bahamas. The festival is a symbol of Bahamian pride and continues to be an important part of the country's cultural identity. The Bahamas has its annual 4-day carnival celebration that takes place every year in Nassau in late April or early May. Moving on swiftly, we come to one of the most popular events in the Caribbean, Crop Over in Barbados. Crop Over, as the name suggests, is a celebration at the end of the sugarcane harvest and dates all the way back to the 1780s. The festival usually takes place in July or August and lasts for several weeks and includes events such as musical performances, street parties, parades, and competitions such as calypso and soca music competitions. Crop Over usually spans 12 weeks, starting in June and ending in early August, culminating in the main event, the Grand Kadume Day Parade on the first Monday in August, a colorful parade of revelers dressed in elaborate costumes dancing through the streets to the sounds of soca music. As we swing over to the western part of the Caribbean, we come to the English enclave of Belize. Carnival in Belize falls in September and is full of many festivities such as the Belize National Song Competition, Belikin Fest, Expo, King and Queen Competition, the Queen of the Bay Pageant, and even the Miss Belize Universe Pageant. However, the biggest event in the month is Belize J'ouvert, which is slated for mid-September each year and involves participants being covered from head to toe in mud, paint, powder, or chocolate, bacchanaling through the streets of Belize City. J'ouvert is the pre-carnival bash to symbolize the start of Carnival Day. As the day continues, there is dancing, music, and singing with colorful costumes and excited faces. Carnival concludes at one of the public parks in Belize City's north side or at Marion Jones Stadium complex, where an after-party follows with local entertainers performing on a stage. Swing back over to the heart of the Caribbean, we come to the Spanish giant that is Cuba, which has one of the most vibrant Latin carnivals, the most notable one being the Santiago de Cuba Carnival. The Santiago de Cuba Carnival is the largest and most well-known carnival in Cuba and is considered one of the most important cultural events in the country. It is an explosion of color, contagious drum rhythms, and dance. It is also a time for Cubans to regather themselves and remember their history, community, and culture, and is an excellent punctuation to the Cuban national holiday on July 26th, and also the anniversary of the attack on Moncado Barracks, which also falls on July 26th. Similar to many other carnivals, there is also music, dancing, street parades, and other festivities surrounding the festive period, so there is something for everyone to do. Next up, we have the British Virgin Islands, or abbreviated as the BVI. Carnival in the BVI occurs each August during the summer and coincides with the anniversary of the 1834 abolition of slavery, giving the festival the apt name of the Emancipation Festival. The BVI Emancipation Festival is a celebration of the territory's ancestors' freedom from colonialism and cultural history. During this time, the BVI showcases the culture and history of its people in grand style with extravaganzas of local and international music, pageants, food fairs, rise and shine tramps, early morning street dancing, parades of colorful costumes, gospel celebrations, and folklore presentations, just to name a few. The BVI's most important cultural showcase with 10 days of fun and frolic and a jammed-packed calendar of activities. In the BVI, the festival lasts for 2 weeks straddling the last week of July and the first week of August. As we come to our next territory, we have the Cayman Islands and the renowned Batabano Carnival. Batabano Cayman Carnival usually takes place in late April or early May and is known as one of the most significant and beautiful of its kind in the Caribbean. The dresses, dance, and music attract thousands of locals and tourists who arrive to enjoy this unique experience. But just when you think carnival season in the Cayman Islands is over, you are wrong. It is just getting started. Carnival doesn't end with Batabano, as the Cayman Islands have 2 Caribbean carnivals in May. After Batabano, there is Caymas, which brings another set of events and parties in May. Caymas is a movement that is made up of a collection of entities that have had a great influence on the Cayman Islands carnival scene over the years and who are passionate about developing carnivals. The peak of Caymas is the fun and colorful masquerade parade, which is usually in the late spring or early summer. By the way, if you're getting value from this video, we would greatly appreciate it if you would give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for our future videos. Thank you. Moving on swiftly, we come to Curaçao, an island with an extremely rich culture and even richer carnival celebrations. Curaçao Carnivals is more than just parties and masquerades and includes competitions such as tumba music and calypso festivals, beauty pageants, street parties, and more. Curaçao's carnival is one of the largest and longest-lasting carnival spectacles in the Caribbean, and one of the best times to visit the island to experience the passion of our people. This grand tradition features fantastic parades, floats, costumes, and characters, plus a beauty contest to elect carnival royalty. Curaçao Carnival usually starts in early January and ends on Ash Wednesday. The dates for Curaçao Carnival may vary slightly from year to year, but it typically includes several weeks of events, with the highlight being the Grand Parade or Grand Marcha, which takes place on the Sunday before Ash Wednesday. Dominica Carnival, also known as Mas Dominic, typically takes place during the pre-Lenten season, starting in January or February and culminating on the Monday or Tuesday before Ash Wednesday. The exact dates of the Dominica Carnival may vary from year to year. About a month before the festivities, Carnival is formally opened with an official opening parade and ceremony, which highlights the celebrations to come. In the weeks leading up to the real Mass, there are calypso shows, village feasts, and pageants. Mas Dominic then serves as the final day of celebration before the quiet and reflective Lenten period. Similar to Dominica, we have our Spanish neighbor, the Dominican Republic, which also has a large and festive carnival season. The carnival season in the Dominican Republic kicks off with a carnival gala held indoors in Santiago de los Caballeros, as opposed to every other carnival event held outdoors. Among its main characteristics are its flashy costumes and loud music. The Dominican Republic celebrates carnivals in various cities and towns across the country. The largest carnival celebration takes place in Santo Domingo, the capital city, and it usually happens in February or March during the weeks leading up to Ash Wednesday. Other cities and towns, such as La Viga and Santiago, also hold their own carnival celebrations at different times of the year. The National Parade in Santo Domingo is considered to be the first carnival held in the Americas. Dominicans are usually most festive on February 27th, the Dominican Republic's Independence Day. On this day, in Santo Domingo, celebrations include a sizable military display with the Dominican Air Force, Navy, and Army. Festivities often include the wearing of colorful costumes that symbolize Dominican religious and traditional characters such as Caliph, Guloya, and Diablo Coelho. Festivals fill the entire country island, with each town adding its twist to the celebration. Next, we come to the country widely known as the Spice Isle, Grenada. Its carnival season is also aptly named Spice Mass, and Spice Mass is the #1 cultural event on Grenada's annual events calendar. Spice Mass is the perfect representation of Grenada's culture, with soca and calypso music everywhere. Carnival Monday and Tuesday of this Grenada Carnival take place in August. There is also Dimanche Grand, which is French for Great Sunday and is the title of the main carnival event. On Dimanche Grand, which is Carnival Sunday night, the Calypso competition and the King and Queen of the bands are held and is the largest party within the Spice Mass season. Grenada Carnival usually takes place in August, with the main events happening on the second Monday and Tuesday of the month, known as Carnival Monday and Tuesday. The festivities of Grenada Carnival include several weeks of events, including calypso competitions, soca monarch competitions, pageants, and a street parade featuring costumed bands and music. We now move to the far south of the Caribbean, to our neighbor, Guyana, which is the host of the Mashramani Carnival, or MASH for short. The time of the MASH festival is typically held in February, which is also Guyana's Republic Day. Apart from the customary and usual parades, music, dancing, and food, there are also float parades, masquerade bands, and dancing in the streets to the accompaniment of steel band music and calypsos. Masquerades frequent the streets performing acrobatic dance routines, a vivid reminder of Guyana's African heritage. Calypso, soca, chutney soca, and chutney music competitions are another integral part of Mashramani, and this culminates in the coronation of a king or queen for the particular year. Haiti can sometimes be known for its tragic history, but Carnival in Haiti is far from tragic. Haiti Carnival, also known as Carnaval de Port-au-Prince, takes place in the capital city of Port-au-Prince and other cities throughout Haiti typically in February or March during the weeks leading up to Ash Wednesday. The carnival features colorful parades with vibrant costumes, music, dance, and other cultural festivities. Due to various challenges, including political unrest and the COVID-19 pandemic, there have been some disruptions to Haiti Carnival in recent years. In fact, it is one of the most lively and festive seasons in the country. Its big culmination is Mardi Gras, also known as Shrove Tuesday, which is always the Tuesday before Ash Wednesday, which officially marks the start of the Lenten season. While the main carnival events occur in the few days leading up to Mardi Gras, many fun carnival celebrations begin in January, known as pre-Carnaval, and include everything from dances and parades to singing competitions and religious celebrations.
This is the biggest collab.
Next on our list, we have one of the biggest and probably most notable names when it comes to the carnival season and having a good time. Down in Jamaica, there is never a dull moment in April when the carnival season gets underway. There is an array of musical genres including reggae, soca, dancehall, and calypso, with participants dressed in elaborate costumes dancing to the beat of steel drum bands. Jamaica Carnival, also known as Bacchanal Jamaica, usually takes place during the period of February to April, with the main events happening in the weeks leading up to Easter. The festival includes a series of events such as road marches, soca concerts, and parties featuring local and international artists. One of the main highlights of Carnival in Jamaica is the parade, which features elaborately decorated floats and costumed participants dancing through the streets. The road march is typically followed by a series of parties and concerts featuring top Caribbean musicians, as well as live performances of local bands and DJs. Martinique is home to one of the best carnival celebrations in the world. This French Caribbean island has a month-long celebration that is full of charm. Unofficially, Carnival season kicks off in January with parties and parades taking place in villages all over the island every weekend until the main carnival begins. Officially, Martinique Carnival events begin in January to February and finish on Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent, which is the 22nd of February 2023. The biggest party is on the last day of celebrations and is called Mardi Gras or Fat Tuesday and is filled with much expected costumes, music, and revelry. Next, we come to one of the smallest territories in the Caribbean. Montserrat may only have a population of 5,000 people, but that does not mean that Montserrat Carnival is a small event or does not happen at all. Montserrat National Festival, which was rebranded Montserrat Carnival in 2019, draws many people to the country for 2 weeks of revelry, pageantry, and music taking place from December to January. Celebrations begin with a short parade from Cars Bay to the festival village. Former Calypso monarchs and Miss Montserrat queens take part in the parade alongside the current delegates for Miss Teen Montserrat as well as current monarchs for Miss Montserrat, Calypso, and Soca. The final event takes place in the new year as revelers take to the streets in costumes on the first Monday in January. We then come to our next territory, Puerto Rico. In Puerto Rico, the biggest carnival event is none other than the Ponce Carnival, or Carnaval Ponceño, and is a month-long celebration that takes place in February. Many of the familiar carnival events is also happening during Ponce Carnival, such as decorated floats, crazy costumed people, lots of music, loads of spectators, and street food. People in Ponce, Puerto Rico have been celebrating the carnival for over 250 years. Each year, the carnival usually takes place in February or March, during the weeks leading up to Ash Wednesday, with parades, music, and special events. St. Kitts and Nevis Carnival is one of the most exciting places in the world to say goodbye to the old year and welcome in the next. The biggest day of the carnival celebration is Parade Day, which occurs on New Year's Day. The last day of the carnival, January 2nd, is a national holiday when many of the winners are announced. St. Kitts and Nevis starts their carnival season in November and run until January. St. Kitts Carnival is in November of 2023, with the main carnival date of the 2nd of January 2024.
Somebody call my mother. Hey, somebody call my mother for me. Make me do what's jiggle.
Moving along, we come to the island with the two majestic pythons, St. Lucia. St. Lucia Carnival, previously known as the Lucian Carnival, is a lively and vibrant celebration of St. Lucia's rich culture and heritage. This celebration evolved from the island's unique mix of Catholic, Caribbean, and African heritage. St. Lucia Carnival is when you can experience local culture at its loudest, brightest, rawest, and purest. It is the largest and most important cultural event in St. Lucia, with over 5,000 costumed revelers taking part. There are also 30,000 spectators and a television audience of over 60,000 transforming the country into a massive party. Each year in July, the island of St. Lucia turns into a massive celebration filled with elaborate costumes, intoxicating rhythms, parades, and pure Caribbean energy.
Why wake up, girl wake up. It's the time to start in your day. Summertime to show me your way. You can dance all day. Why wake up, girl wake up. Caribbean.
Not to be left off the list of small islands that fully partake in Carnival, we land on the territory of St. Barthelemy, which is one of the most vibrant carnivals for a place so small. St. Barthelemy Carnival fills the street of Gustavia and is transformed into a joyous and cheerful parade. All manner of persons participates, including locals and tourists alike, who join in and become revelers, decked out in vibrant costumes and enjoying the lively musical atmosphere. The main event of Mardi Gras is a parade ending at Shell Beach for the burning of Vaval, the king of Carnival. While the party in St. Bart's may be smaller compared to others on our list, its vibes are still something to behold and usually takes place in February or March during the weeks leading up to Ash Wednesday. We now come to the island split in two, St. Martin and San Marteen. St. Martin and San Marteen are two separate territories under the jurisdiction of France and the Netherlands respectively, but they come together to hold Carnival around the same time. Carnival in San Marteen, the Dutch side, is the larger and more vibrant one, however. Events during the party season include colorful parades, spectacular pageants, exciting calypso competitions, energetic bands, highly anticipated international concerts, and lots of sumptuous cuisines. The carnival itself lasts for 17 days in April and culminates on the Grand Carnival Parade, usually around the 30th of April, a public holiday. Islanders also enjoy a holiday for King's birthday on April 27th, which can make for a 4-day weekend in some years. Promoted as the hottest carnival in the Caribbean, we come to the spectacle that is Vincimas, the primary carnival in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Vincimas is a carnival that punches above its weight and is known to draw thousands of people to the small island of St. Vincent, beginning on the last Friday of June and running for 12 days. Original Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday, was the day before Lent and the last chance to feast and make merry before giving up some food for the 40 days before Easter. In Vincimas, a Band of the Year competition is followed by a final parade of the mass bands to signal the end of the festival. The carnival kicks off with Juve, which is a pre-dawn celebration that occurs before sunrise. It is lots of fun and spontaneous and sees groups playing lots of soca, steel pan, and throwing mud and paint at each other. Some of the biggest highlights of Vincimas are the Miss St. Vincent competition, the Soca Monarch competition, Miss Carnival, Carnival King, and Queen competition, and the Junior Pan Fest. The highlight of Vincimas and the biggest day of partying is the Mardi Gras parade of the bands. Moving down to the bottom of the Caribbean, we have the most southern country of Suriname, which rather surprisingly or unsurprisingly, depending on who you ask, does not have the grandiose carnival celebration as other Caribbean countries. Despite that, however, Suriname of course does have carnival celebrations called Avant Viardage. It is a somewhat peculiar celebration, as it does not feature the typical carnival celebrations, but its purpose is more of physical activity mixed with different cultural and ethnic elements that the country possesses. The avant voyage consists of walking long distances for 4 continuous days. However, the activity is much more than that, as it brings with it cultural representation through the dances and costumes of the different people who attend. So get ready, because Suriname Avant Voyage is slated to take place in April. We now have the home of Carnival and Mass. The mighty Trinidad and Tobago typically takes place in February or March. Trini Carnival, as it is well known, is full of colorful costumes and exuberant parties, which incorporate numerous events such as band launch fetes, calypso and soca competitions, stick fighting and limbo competitions, and much more. It is said that if the islanders are not celebrating it, then they are preparing for it while reminiscing about the past year's festival. The week before Carnival is called Carnival Week, and that's when the bulk of the fetes are held. Carnival Wednesday to Carnival Sunday is when the best and most popular fetes are on. Although many Carnival celebrations are happening for months prior, with the first fetes occurring as early as the day after Christmas, most of them fall between the 15th to the 23rd of February. So if you're ready for arguably the most intense carnival in the Caribbean, make sure you book early before it's too late. And finally, we come to the last island on our list, and a very unique one at that. Carnival in the US Virgin Islands is not a one-time event, but varies depending on which country in the island chain you are deciding to visit. The carnivals on St. Thomas, St. John, and St. Croix happen at different periods during the year, giving you multiple reasons to come back to the US Virgin Islands to enjoy partying all over again. St. Thomas is the biggest carnival of the 3 and happens after Easter, usually around April-May. This year, St. Thomas Carnival is planned for Sunday, April 23rd to Sunday, April 30th, and is expected to be one of the biggest ones ever as revelers come to enjoy the festivities since COVID-19 put a damper on celebrations. After St. Thomas Carnival, there is the next biggest event, St. John Carnival, which occurs in June and ends in early July. St. John Festival runs for over a month, beginning with steel pan shows and pageants, eventually moving up to the main events from around the 25th of June. All the festivities build up to July 3rd, which is Emancipation Day, and culminate on July 4th, which is Independence Day, with the parade and fireworks. Finally, on the US Virgin Islands, we have St. Croix, which finishes off the year strong when it hosts its Carnival Festival between Christmas and New Year. While St. Croix Carnival may not be as extravagant as its sister islands, the Crucian Christmas Carnival sees events in both Christenstead and Frederiksted, including calypso shows, Latin music venues, food fairs, horse races, parades, and more. Events usually start the second week of December and run all the way into the new year, with the culmination of the Adults Parade in early January. In conclusion, Carnival in the Caribbean is a vibrant and lively celebration that brings together people of all backgrounds to revel in music, dance, food, and festivities. Originating from West African traditions, this cultural event has evolved into a unique blend of African, European, and indigenous influences, reflecting the diverse heritage of the region. Carnival is not just a party, but a showcase of the Caribbean's cultural richness and a time for people to come together, forget their troubles, and celebrate life. Whether it's Trinidad and Tobago's famous Carnival or Jamaica's world-renowned Road March, the Caribbean's carnivals are truly a feast for the senses and a must-experience for anyone looking to immerse themselves in the region's rich cultural heritage. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for our next video as we explore the Caribbean lifestyle together. This is J-irie Caribbean. Thanks for watching.